thing. We have with us Lezli Engelking. Am I pronouncing that right?
Perfectly.
Oh, wow. I've never been told that. The president and
Watch yourself now.
I know it's all downhill from here, isn't it?
That's it.
The president and founder of Focus, the foundation of Cannabis Unified Standards, and with you, your vice president and certification director, Erin Kennedy. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Now, let's just start right off the bat. What is Focus? What's your purpose? What's your reason for being?
Yep, Focus is a 501c3 nonprofit cannabis health and safety organization. So we're pretty unique in the space in that we are truly an independent third party, no financial stake in the industry. Our mission is to protect public health, consumer safety, and the environment.
If I could, let me get you to turn that mic just a little bit. And there we go. Because I want them to hear. Well, much better.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so we're a health and safety organization. We write standards, we provide certification, we work with insurance companies, we work with regulatory agencies, and in Mississippi we're here to just help them through the situation and really give advice as needed and wanted.
Because this is one thing that hasn't, I think, gotten the attention that a lot of the other aspects of the marijuana industry coming into Mississippi have gotten so far. And Erin, as the certification director, I would suspect you're going to be dealing with these companies on a very hands-on basis.
Oh, absolutely. And these are businesses that want to protect the health and safety of the industry. They're interested in doing the right thing, and so they reach out and they want to achieve the certification to demonstrate to the public that we want to take care of your health, your safety. We care about you. We care about the product, and this is how we're going to show that to you.
Now, when you talk about certifying these people, is it the growing aspect of it? Is it the actual retail aspect? Is it all of it?
It's all of it, yeah.
Okay, the whole thing, start to finish.
Cultivation, different kinds of cultivation, manufacturing, all types of manufacturing and retail, and then we also work with laboratories.
Very good. Now, how are these standards set that you are judging these people by, that you're certifying them by? Where do these standards come from?
Yeah, so my background is in pharmaceuticals, and I actually opened the first dispensary, marijuana dispensary in Phoenix, and was there for 3 years, and we grew quite a bit. And I just realized there were no standards, and so I left to start this company. We followed all guidelines for international standards development like you would for any other industry. So we looked at U.S. Code of Federal Regulations for pharmaceuticals, for food, for agriculture. We looked at the Food Safety Modernization Act, OSHA. We took ISO standards for environmental health, for management systems. We built training into it. So they're really comprehensive, and they look like a traditional standard that you would see in any other industry. They're based on food code and other, EPA guidelines and those sorts of things, fire code, building code.
So everything.
Yeah.
Very much everything. How have you already started conversations with some companies that are planning to come here?
Absolutely. Yeah, quite a few of them, actually. Especially once the Supreme Court thing, we were sort of on a pathway that was going a little bit quicker before that happened. So we were talking to quite a few people here that are coming in. Some are clients in other states that are wanting to come into Mississippi, and some are Mississippi residents wanting to start their own cannabis business.
And I would assume that while it's in a holding pattern, people are still fired up and ready to go on this.
Oh, absolutely. And spending, tons of money just to get ready, right? I mean, these businesses are not simple to erect, right? I mean, there's a lot to think about, like there is starting any business. It's a little bit more complicated in cannabis just because of the conflict between a state and a federal law. But it takes time and patience and proper planning. And so, yeah, most people are still moving forward, as they should.
Now, Erin, let me ask you, walk me through the process. Let somebody walk in and they say, hey, I'm starting up a cannabis business. I want to get, make sure I'm following the procedures right, and I want you guys' help. What do you do?
Well, it depends on the business, where their background is, what their experience is, what type of operation they're wanting to start, whether they want to grow or they want to sell or they want to do something in between. So we have those conversations. If they're a new organization and they haven't done any of that, then Focus will often help them get up and running. We can write license applications for them. We can write their standard operating procedures and their policies and help them work out all of those details that are so critical to a successful operation, not just in cannabis, but in any industry, right? you have all those things that you have to set up. You got to pour the foundation and build the walls before you start picking out the drapes and painting the walls, right? So you have to do all of those things. If it's a company that's already up and running, say in another state that's already, has a program, and they want to get certified, then we'll assess where they are at the time and say, how well do you meet the standards, and do sort of a gap assessment and then move towards certification. So there's a lot of dependencies, but regardless of where a company is, we'll always assess where you are, where you need to be against the standards, against your local and state regulations, and make sure that you're compliant with those things, and then move forwards towards a total culture of quality in your business.
And the thing that really fascinates me about you guys and about Focus is the fact that we have had so much discussion and so much, let's just call it what it is, yelling back and forth for quite a while about this topic. And then the people went to the polls and pretty overwhelmingly said what they thought about it. And now we have the legal procedure that we're going through to get to the end of it. But not really much attention through all of that was paid to what you guys are taking care of, which is making sure that these businesses, don't just come in and throw up a storage building in the backyard and start opening for business. It's a lot more complicated than that, and it has to do, from what I'm hearing, with the safety of the customers as much as anything, right?
Safety of the customers, safety of employees, safety of the public that, when this program comes in. So Focus is unique in the sense that pardon me, we don't advocate or push for cannabis legalization in any way. Our position is simply, if you're going to build a cannabis program in your state, then you have a responsibility to build in adequate protections for the health and safety of the citizens of that state. And so we're just here to help make sure that happens and provide advice. We've both been operators. Erin was a regulator in Oregon and started the dispensary program there. So our whole team has hands-on experience. And yeah, we're just bring it to other states so that you don't have to repeat the mistakes and the hardships that some of these other programs have experienced.
And that's important because it's a feeling your way through it process when you start something like this, especially something as big and as complicated as this is, and we kind of tend to forget how complicated it can be because a lot of people think, I'm going to put some plants in the backyard and I'm ready to go. No, it's a little more to it than that, I think.
Especially because cannabis hits so many different areas, right? I mean, if you it's an agricultural product while it's being grown, right? But then it's harvested and manufactured and it's made into food products and beverages and, suppositories and pills and capsules in all different forms. It's not a foreign thing, but it's a big thing, right? So if you think about it like similar to corn, I mean, corn is grown and harvested in the field and then manufactured and made into tons of different things, right? From corn flake to corn oil to ethanol. So they touch a lot of different agencies, and that sort of holistic part of it is what makes it more challenging.
Now, just on a side note, just for my own curiosity, you're dealing with cannabis. Do you also provide these same services for companies engaging in CBD oil, for example, things like that, byproducts?
Yes, we do. We work with, when we say cannabis, we mean both what people call marijuana and hemp, both of those things. As long as you're operating in a legal capacity in your state, we will absolutely work with you. If you're trying to do something that is outside of that legal market, that is outside of our space, we will not support that. We're all about, doing the right thing with health and safety, but also the right thing, with the regulations and the laws. So yes, we do. We work with all of those. And, as Leslie said, it's different enough that it kind of throws people for a loop, especially with, all these decades of, information and misinformation and stereotypes and
I don't know what you're talking about. That kind of thing never goes on.
No, of course not.
Erin, you're just making stuff up now. Yeah. Do have a question on the C Spire text line that I'm just going to pass along to you. From where is your authority derived?
So we work with the American National Standards Institute, which is the U.S. body for ISO International Standards, and we're going through accreditation on our certification process. We did the same through our standards development process.